Welcome back to another edition of NC Sports Weekly News, where the water sports tribes come to meet. Team Aqua starts strong at the RC44 season kickoff in Virgin Gorda. Langkawi International Regatta, Malaysia keeps on sailing. Return of the Prince, the dramatic Mid-Atlantic rescue. Senior correspondent Sébastien Destremaux reports. Sailing Arabia, the tour is full on, and Gavignet has taken the lead. NC Sports, plunge into the action. Aqua takes all at the British Virgin Islands and places its first down payment on the World Championship at the RC44 season kickoff. Owner Chris Bake and Kiwi tactician Cameron Appleton first dominated the match racing series with a 7-1 score, and then kept it up just enough to grab the opportunity in the races. Hosted by the Yacht Club Costa Esmeralda in its Virgin Gorda winter racing base, the competitive owner-driver circuit was back for a week of spectacular sailing in Caribbean waters, and once again brought together many of the top pros in the sport. Just ask Percy, Vascotto, Leishab, Horton, Kiefi, or even Baird. With 12 to 17 knots blowing from the east on flat seas, the 1.1 nautical mile inshore course was set along the north sound of Virgin Gorda. Aqua banked on consistency as yet another British team, Peninsula Petroleum, seemed unstoppable and soon took the lead with a streak of wins and podium placements. This year's RC44 race format also included a breathtaking 28 nautical mile long-distance course from Virgin Gorda into the Caribbean Sea, rounding Guana Island and then back to the YCCS. Again, Peninsula Petroleum was first over the finish line in this fifth regatta in 3 hours and 60 minutes, just ahead of the Russians on Synergy and the French on Aleph Racing. That all changed in race number 10 of the scheduled 12 when a collision with the Russians of Gazprom Youth Sailing Challenge brought on the black flag and a disqualification. In the bitter fate, John Basadone and Vasco Vascotto on Peninsula Petroleum would see a total of 13 points simply evaporate from their lead. Aqua had already been keeping at bay both a Synergy Russian sailing team with America's Cup 32 winner Ed Beard calling the shots, and Andrea Pozzi's new Bombarda team with some of the best Italian pros on board. No doubt Bake and Cameron built this Virgin Gorda success on a heart-stopping finale. First with that valuable second place in race 10, then with the victory in race 11, and finally, on the very last regatta, Aqua got plenty of help as the fleet just managed to keep Peninsula Petroleum off the points. Bringing together more than 200 of Asia's top competitors, this 11th edition of the KFC Langkawi International Regatta Perdana hosted 15 different Olympic and youth sailing classes. Unfolding across 3 race courses, the week-long event kept race officers and staff of Kedah Sailing and the Malaysian Yachting Association pretty busy. Sailors were handed out a mix of wind and wave conditions with both tough and light days to reshuffle tactics and strengths. Most mainstream classes were on the water like the 420s and 470s, but also the 12-foot bite class for lighter sailors, which is quite strong locally. The Optimist was the biggest fleet here in Malaysia with 93 participants, and of course there were the lasers. The laser radial and 4.7, the 2.4-meter keelboat, plus of course the windsurfing on the big Techno. In women's 420, Jamil and Salahuddin simply crushed the opposition with 10 wins out of 12 races. While the top 470 and 420 sailors Aslan and Ismail prevailed, but just 2 points after tight dueling with Zaki and Mazalan. Two promising young Malaysian sailors, Asri Asman and Muhammad Latif, battled for the lead in the bite class, with Asman taking the title by just 4 points. With a 10 out of 10, Khairul Afendi was another standout performer in the laser standard, and was equaled by fellow Malaysian team member Nur Hamid in the laser radial. In laser 4.7, Rainer Lee from Singapore topped the leaderboard over Sul Hassan from Malaysia, with Ko Yi Qian from Singapore third. In one of the closest matches of this regatta, Elfe Alias finally overtook Mohammad Radzi by a single point on the Techno 293 class, after the two windsurfers had swapped the overall lead throughout the series. The massive Optimist class was a super tight affair. On the last racing day, just 3 points separated the three sailors on the podium. Naqib Shireen stayed consistent, the key to large fleet racing, and took the lead away from Mohammad Rosaini finishing second and Mohammad Yusuf in third. With another success on the books, this KFC Langkawi International Regatta Perdana is a further testament to the development of sailing in Malaysia, an effort that has been officially sustained and recognized by ISAF, and that will bring the Youth World Championships in 2015.
Having left Lorient on January 17 for an assault on the Mauritius record held by Francis Joyon, the Maxi Trimaran Prince de Bretagne, skipped by Lionel Lemonchois, capsized on day 11.
Welcome to the office. Following several days of preparation, the rescue missions team sent to Rio leaves Brazil on board a tugboat with 8 tons of equipment.
The meeting with Lionel is quite magical. Sitting on the central hull in the middle of nowhere, the skipper is relieved to welcome his rescuer. Imagine being alone on an upturned boat in sweltering heat for 10 days. Thanks, but no thanks.
It was long. 10 days adrift alone is long.
After a good night's sleep, the rewriting of the boat is carried out efficiently, even if it proves quite difficult.
The first attempt ends in a disaster when a rope loaded with 5 tons of ballast breaks.
The following one is a success, and the convoy can finally set off towards Rio. The footages of the 24 meters long Maxi Trimaran magically rewriting herself are quite astonishing.
We immersed a sort of big pendulum from the tug. Everything was tension to the max, and then we cut the rope. It made a huge underwater pendulum. There was an enormous explosion of joy when it actually worked, and we were all astonished.
The damages to the boat are quite substantial. The mast, sails, electronics, electrical wiring are ruined. Everything will have to be reviewed or replaced. Lionel had a perfect preparation for the Route du Rhum, however Prince de Bretagne's capsize is a huge setback and may jeopardize his chances.
The boat is great, we will rebuild her exactly the same. There's nothing we need to change. She is ready for the Route du Rhum.
7 months prior to the Queen of the Transat's start, the race to have his boat ready is on for the double winner of the great event.
Rendezvous next week, same time, same place. Until then, goodbye and fair sailing.
On the last update before this weekly news edition goes to air, French skipper Sydney Gavignet and crew on EFG Bank, representing Monaco, sailed an impressive and tactical 60 nautical mile sprint from Abu Dhabi to Dubai to win leg 3 of the EFG Sailing Arabia, the Tour 2014. stretching for some 760 nautical miles over the Strait of Hormuz and connecting 4 countries from Bahrain to Oman, this is the Gulf region's only endurance offshore regatta. Blending port-to-port legs and inshore races, the tour has been consistently placing the region on the global sailing map. In the light 3 to 5 knot breezes, Gavignet banked on his huge experience, capturing a 40-degree wind shift that shot them 2 minutes ahead of the pack at the first mark and was instrumental to winning the race, albeit with a narrow 10-minute margin on Messe Frankfurt sailing team and a combative all-girl team on EFG Bank Muscat, led by Katie Pettibone. EFG Bank has been leading the series at each leg, and the overall picture reflects the current strengths on the water. With Messe Frankfurt skippered by 21-year-old Marcel Herrera just 3 points behind, and the EFG girls in third. A veteran of 3 America's Cup teams and 2 around-the-world races, Pettibone is now heading a motivated squad that has been actively promoting women's sailing throughout the Middle East. This year, a total of 6 teams are taking part, including 3 from Oman: Renaissance, Royal Navy of Oman, and EFG Bank Muscat. EFG Bank, Monaco, Messe Frankfurt sailing team, and Delft challenged TU Delft. 7 different nations are represented among the crews, including France, Germany, Ireland, USA, Great Britain, Netherlands, Belgium, and the local Omanis. Stay tuned for the upcoming NC Sports Top Story, premiering this Saturday on Nautical Channel, with a full report from Sailing Arabia The Tour 2014. Plunge into the action with NC Sports.